Have you ever really stopped to think about what's going on in your head while you're fast asleep? Turns out, it's anything but rest. Your brain is actually running this incredibly sophisticated nightly cleaning service. And getting a handle on how it works could be one of the most important things you do for your long-term health. So let's get into it. I mean, it's a huge question, right? We spend something like 26 years of our life completely out of it, asleep. On the surface, that seems like a massive, kind of inefficient design. Unless, of course, that unconscious time is being used for something absolutely critical to our survival. And that's the big secret. Sleep isn't passive. It's this super active, essential maintenance window for your brain. Every single night while you're off in dreamland, your brain is literally taking out the trash, flushing out all the toxic gunk that builds up while you're awake. So who's on this cleanup crew? Well, it's this amazing, dedicated network that scientists have dubbed the glymphatic system. Just think of it as your brain's own personal plumbing and waste disposal system all rolled into one. So how does this whole thing work? Well, the glymphatic system uses that clear liquid that surrounds your brain and spinal cord, the cerebrospinal fluid, or CSF for short. It basically hijacks this fluid and uses it to wash through the brain tissue itself, collecting all the waste products and flushing them away. And this diagram just shows how brilliant the mechanics are. See those arrows? The CSF piggybacks along the outside of arteries to get deep inside your brain. Then it flows through all the tiny spaces between your brain cells, kind of like a power washer, collecting all that metabolic debris. And finally, it exits along the veins and gets flushed out of your body. It's a perfect, self-contained rinse cycle happening every night. And what kind of trash are we talking about here? It's not just random gunk. It's specifically targeting and clearing out these really nasty toxic proteins, like amyloid beta and tau. And if those names are ringing a bell, it's because the buildup of these exact proteins is a major hallmark of neurodegenerative diseases, especially Alzheimer's. But here's the thing, this cleanup doesn't just happen randomly. Oh no, it's a highly scheduled operation. So that begs the question, who's the manager? Who's in charge of telling the cleaning crew when it's time to get to work? Meet the boss. This little spot right here is the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or the SCN. It's this tiny but incredibly powerful region in your hypothalamus, and it acts as your body's master clock. It gets information about light directly from your eyes, and it uses that info to sync your entire body to the 24-hour day-night cycle. And the SCN is one smart manager. It schedules the glymphatic system's heavy-duty cleaning for the absolute best time possible, when the brain is offline, so to speak, during sleep. All the science shows that this cleaning process is way more powerful and effective while we're asleep. Okay, so the SCN master clock is setting the schedule. Got it. But how does it send out the memo? How does this one tiny spot in the brain tell the entire system, all right, team, it's go time. Time to start the cleanup? It all comes down to a chemical chain of command. As you can see here, the SCN talks to something called the HPA axis. Just think of it as a hormonal control center. This pathway then tells your glands when to release certain hormones, like cortisol. And these hormones travel all through your body like little time-stamped messengers, telling every system exactly what time it is. And this whole process follows this beautiful daily rhythm. You see, during the day, your cortisol levels are high. That's your get-up-and-go hormone. It keeps you awake and active. But as evening approaches, the SCN dials it way back. Your cortisol levels drop, and that shift allows your brain to enter sleep mode, which, you guessed it, creates the perfect conditions for the glymphatic system to do its job. So, we have a cleaning system. We have a master clock scheduling the cleaning. It's a great setup. But what happens when that system gets clogged up or disrupted? Well, as researchers are now discovering, the consequences are incredibly serious. Let's take a look at the data. So to figure this out, researchers went big. I mean, really big. They tapped into this massive resource called the UK Biobank and analyzed almost 40,000 MRI scans to see if they could find a direct link between a faulty glymphatic system and a person's future risk of dementia. And what they found were 3 key biomarkers that were basically flashing red warning signs. People who had slower CSF velocity, meaning a sluggish rinse cycle, or a larger choroid plexus, which might mean the CSF factory itself is struggling, or altered water diffusion, a sign that waste isn't moving smoothly, all of them were at a significantly higher risk of developing dementia within the next 10 years. As one of the study's authors, Yutong Chen, put it, the evidence is strong. This isn't just a hunch anymore. It's a measurable biological process. A clog in the brain's waste clearance system seems to be a direct contributor to dementia risk. Now, I know this can all sound a little daunting, but the flip side of this is actually really empowering. Because if we know how the system works and we know what clogs it up, we can actually take steps to protect it. So, how can you help out your brain's nightly cleanup crew?
The research points to three really clear areas. First, and this is the big one, prioritize sleep. It's just not negotiable. This is prime time for the cleanup crew. Second, take care of your cardiovascular health. Remember how this CSF fluid piggybacks on your arteries? Well, high blood pressure damages those very highways, and that can disrupt the whole cleaning process. And third, just general healthy lifestyle choices. The researchers specifically pointed out that smoking can impair glymphatic function, basically gumming up the works.
So, when you boil it all down, it comes to this. Every single night, you have this incredible, dedicated team working to protect your brain for the long haul. And the question we have to ask ourselves is a pretty simple one. Are we giving that team the best possible chance to succeed?